the other day I got a message from a girl that watched my video, other people commenting on your body, which is here. And she had a really rough day at volleyball training. Her instructor told her that she basically sucked at what she was doing. Everyone heard. She had a horrible day. She felt like a failure, like a loser, and she really felt like my video helped her. I made a video about feeling like a loser or sucking at sports a couple of months ago. I never uploaded it because I was in the middle of moving, but I really feel like I need to get it out there because it's such a big topic for me, and I really want to share it with you guys, my experience with just basically thinking that you suck at sport. First, you need to know that I was never an athletic kid. I was never one of the cool kids in sport, or just generally in school. I hated being graded for it, and I really think kids shouldn't be graded for that in school. But anyway, I would never throw as far as the other kids, or run as fast, or just get anything else but a paper that would say, "Thanks for taking part in this, you were great." Aww. When we had team games in school, I would be the last one to be picked because I wasn't the greatest kid, which I get, but you know, I had other qualities. I was active, I was horse riding, I was dancing ballet, and that was more on the girly sides of sports. I would never do anything else really, nothing competitive. I just didn't perform as well, and I actually just always thought that I would suck at school. Another thing was that I got really motion sick really easily. I could never do a somersault or a handstand. I would literally puke every time I would get my head under my body. I found out when I was like 3 years old in ballet when I did a somersault, and I puked, and I could also never ride any roller coasters or anything because I would just get so dizzy and so sick, but no teacher would believe me that. So I had to puke so many times in my whole school career in front of my other fellow kids, which sucked. And yeah, no one would believe me, so I had to do that. Actually, it's a medical condition. I just got that checked. It's something to do with my brain. I'm going to do further testing on that. It's not too much fun. But hey, I'm going to live without doing a handstand for sure, but it definitely wasn't fun growing up. And that just added to my whole feeling of being unathletic and sucking. And I just remember coming home so many times and just crying my eyeballs out because it was just the shittiest feeling in the world. That wasn't too fun. And I think I just kept that belief with me my whole life. I started skiing pretty late, at like 12 years old. I wasn't bad at all in the beginning, but then when I picked it up a year later again, I was pretty tall already. I had far too short ski because I was afraid of the long ones and just crossing them and going right into the trees. I was just too insecure, so I switched to snowboarding because no one was really good at snowboarding back then because we were all, you know, young cool people at like 14, 15, and we were all just starting out. So I did that. I had my ex-boyfriend teach me, which was amazing, and I learned, and I wasn't doing bad at all. I remember having tennis lessons and starting, and I was really good in the beginning, but I just wanted to be a lot better and improve faster. I had this perfectionist attitude with me. Like in school, I just wanted to do my very best, and I couldn't ease up. Even the instructor told me to just be easier on myself. I was improving, I was doing good, but I just dropped it because I felt like I was doing horrible. And yeah, so I think I just carried that with me my whole life. I picked up surfing like 2-3 years ago, and in the beginning I stayed with the beginners group for so much longer because I didn't really trust in my abilities to surf, but I actually got up in the end and started surfing. I also started climbing, and I just started swimming because it's better for my joints, so I do that, and I did really well. So it's not like I can't move, but I just had this belief with me all my life. But I kind of started to gradually forget about it until one day this February when I went skiing with my boyfriend, and we've already been skiing for 2 days in a row. I was really tired, I was on my period, I was not in a good mood. The conditions were horrible. It was like 1 meter, super wet, soggy snow, lots of moguls, and just not a good sight at all. And I got on the wrong runs, and I ended up being on a run that was just below the lift, so everyone could see me, and I felt like everyone was laughing at me because I couldn't get up, I couldn't get down that freaking run with all its moguls. I would just constantly fall down and have no energy at all left. And I felt just such a struggle, and I had this weird feeling in my gut that made me feel horrible about myself and like I would suck and couldn't snowboard at all, which is ridiculous. I'm pretty good right now. My boyfriend came by and asked me if I needed a hand, but I was just such in a state of shame. I just wanted him to go away. I felt horrible. I wanted to be by myself and just make it by myself, and I had all these people watching me, which was horrible. So by the time I made it to the bottom, my boyfriend of course waited to me. I was just so short of just crying. I started crying when we went up the lift. I couldn't even talk to him, and it made me think why I'm that upset right now. I was really like looking at myself with some distance. I was like, what is up with you? Like the last time you felt like that, you were 7 years old. came home from school and you just felt like you sucked. So I was like, what is going on? I know you can snowboard. And I realized that it wasn't about this day at all. It was just really a matter of the conditions being really, really bad. I also realized that I couldn't just be click and happy again. I just had to deal with this myself. So I went down with a gondola and let my boyfriend just ski down the hill, and I sat there and I had a really, really good cry, and I just cried my eyeballs out. In the beginning I was like, well, shut up, get your shit together, like, why are you such a crybaby? But felt amazing to cry, and I felt like I was crying all these tears that I held in all these years, like all these tears that I wanted to cry as a kid, and I also did. But I just saw my 7-year-old little blonde girl standing there, and I just wanted to give her a hug, and I wanted to comfort her, and I felt so bad for my little self, like almost like I wanted to be my own friend. That was a horrible time, and I don't wish that onto anyone else. And yeah, I just understood that that was this limiting belief, this body shame I was carrying around my whole childhood up to an adult, and I just needed to let go of that right now. I looked at this fear for the first time and saw it as a fear, like a thought that isn't true, and I kind of like shone the light into the darkness and realized that it's not the truth. And as soon as I saw it as just a fear, as just a thought, I like took all the power from it. I realized that that is not the truth, that I actually can, that I am able, that my body is beautifully working, that I have 2 legs and 2 arms and we're designed to move, and that I can, that I don't have any disadvantage really besides being super weird and puking every time I get my head under my body.
Ew.
I can still run and do those things, you know, like I picked up running at the age of 19 and I completed 2 half marathons, which I never thought I could complete even until the day that I did the half marathon. And I wasn't super fast, just comparing myself to all the others running, but why need you to compare yourself to others? I still did it. I was so proud of myself that I ran a half marathon. Me, the girl that always thought she was super inactive. That was such a crazy good moment for me, and I hold on to that. And I was so good in snowboarding until that day when I thought I couldn't snowboard at all, and I realized that that is not the truth. So please, I just really want you to realize that there's nothing wrong with you, that you can, that you don't have to perform as good as the chick in your class or as the dude on the street, that you can just do something for fun, and that this limiting belief that you're carrying around with you is not the truth, that you can do it, that you can be your own kind of awesome, that you are able and you really, really can. And you know, you have this beautifully working body that you can do whatever you want with it, and you don't have to compare yourself with anyone else. So I just want you to remember that. And that was such a crazy weight that lifted off my shoulders that day, and I hope I could inspire some of you. Just go out there and try and start climbing and swimming or anything that you wanted to do. Always just go ahead and do so, because you are awesome, and I want you to know that, and you have everything you need right here and inside of you. I hope this was helpful, and I especially thank the girl that was messaging me about the day at her volleyball training after watching my video. You're awesome. I really wanted to make this video, and I hope to talk to you guys soon. Bye. Sometimes when someone comments, oh, you just ate that whole chocolate by yourself, babe? It's like, yeah. Sometimes it's funny, but sometimes it's just not funny, and those ideas stick with you. Not everyone will understand that eating the chips and salsa in front of them right now in the restaurant is such a big deal.